Welcome to the 2024 Men's Basketball Championship Selection Show. In just a few moments, we will reveal all of the qualifiers for the 86th Annual NAIA Men's Basketball National Championship, set to begin on March 15th with first and second round action at sites throughout the nation. The winners of each will descend on Kansas City beginning on March 21st at the historic Municipal Auditorium. 64 teams will begin their journey to Kansas City, where we will crown the winner on March 26th. The battle for the Red Banner begins now. There are two primary ways that a team can qualify for the national championship field: by receiving either an automatic bid or an at-large bid into the tournament. The number of teams in each league determines the number of automatic bids in each conference. Leagues with 10 or more schools receive 2 automatic berths, while conferences with less than 10 institutions receive 1. Automatic bids are determined by each conference and can include conference regular season champion, regular season runners-up, tournament champion, or tournament runners-up, depending on the league. The remaining at-large berths are selected by the NAIA Men's Basketball National Selection Committee, made up of coaches and administrators from around the nation. Now, let's take a look at the first round matchups. Let's get started in the Naismith Quadrant, with first and second round games being played in Winona Lake, Indiana, hosted by Grace. The number 1 seed will be the Lancers of Grace. The Lancers claim both the Crossroads regular season and tournament titles with an overall record of 30-1. They will face the number 16 seed, the Shock of Washington, Adventist. The Shock were the Continental Tournament runners-up with an overall mark of 18-10. The number 8 seed in the Naismith Quadrant are the Bulldogs of Union. The Bulldogs were both the AAC regular season and tournament champions with an overall record of 25-6. They will face the number 9 seed, the Spirit of OUAZ. The Spirit gained an at-large berth out of the GSAC with an overall record of 19-10. The next matchups will take place in Orange City, Iowa, hosted by Northwestern. The number 5 seed will be the Red Raiders of Northwestern. The Red Raiders earned the GPAC regular season championship with an overall record of 23-7. They will match up against the number 12 seeded Pomeroys of St. Mary of the Woods. The Pomeroys were the River State's tournament runners-up with an overall record of 25-6. The number 4 seed in the Naismith Quadrant are the Hustlin' Owls of Oregon Tech. The Owls claimed the Cascade Tournament Championship with an overall record of 26-5. They will face the number 13 seed, the Seahawks of Kaiser. The Seahawks gained an at-large berth out of the Sun with an overall record of 18-10. The next matchups will take place in Butte, Montana, hosted by Montana Tech. The number 6 seed will be the Royals of Hope International. The Royals gained an at-large berth out of the Golden State with an overall mark of 21-9. They will face the number 11 seeded Warriors of Lewis Clark State. The Warriors earned an at-large berth out of the Cascade with an overall record of 22-8. The number 3 seed in the Naismith Quadrant are the Ore Diggers of Montana Tech. The Ore Diggers were the Frontier Tournament champions with an overall record of 26-4. They will face the number 14 seed, the Pioneers of Wayland Baptist. The Pioneers gained an at-large berth out of the Sooner with an overall record of 21-9. The next matchups will take place in Waxahachie, Texas, hosted by Sagu. The number 7 seed will be the Lions of Sagu. The Lions earned an at-large berth out of the Sooner with an overall record of 20-9. They will match up against the number 10 seeded Wildcats of Baker. The Wildcats earned an at-large berth out of the Heart of America with an overall mark of 22-9. The number 2 seed in the Naismith Quadrant are the Lions of Florida Memorial. The Lions were the Sun Tournament champions with an overall record of 24-6. They will face the number 15 seed, the Valor of Evangel. The Valor grabbed an at-large berth out of the KCAC with an overall record of 18-10. Let's now move on to the Kramer Quadrant, with first and second round games played in Henderson, Tennessee, hosted by Freed Hardman. The number 1 seed will be the Lions of Freed Hardman. The Lions won the Mid-South Tournament and will enter championship play with an overall mark of 26-4. They will face the number 16 seed, Wolfpack of Loyola. The Wolfpack won the Southern States Tournament and enter championship play on a 7-game win streak. The number 8 seed in the Kramer Quadrant are the Pioneers of Point Park. the Pioneers claimed the River State's regular season and tournament titles with an overall record of 29-2. They will face the number 9 seed, the Steers of Texas College. The Steers were the second highest ARC-ranked team in the Red River with an overall record of 22-8. The next matchups will take place in Miami Gardens, Florida, hosted by St. Thomas. The number 5 seed will be the Mustangs of the Masters. The Mustangs earned an at-large berth into the national field out of the GSAC with an overall record of 22-8. They will match up against the number 12-seeded Warriors of Weber International. The Warriors earned an at-large berth out of the Sun with an overall mark of 20-10. The number 4 seed in the Kramer Quadrant are the Bobcats of St. Thomas. The Bobcats grabbed an at-large berth out of the Sun with an overall mark of 21-8. They will face the number 13 seed, the Bears of Pikeville. The Bears were the AAC regular season runners-up with an overall mark of 23-7. The next matchups in the Kramer Quadrant will be played in Olathe, Kansas, hosted by Mid-American Nazarene. The number 6 seed will be the Generals of LSU Alexandria. The Generals claimed both the Red River regular season and tournament titles with an overall record of 24-6. They will face the number 11 seeded Pilots of Bethel. The Pilots earned an at-large berth out of the Crossroads League with an overall record of 19-10. The number 3 seed in the Kramer Quadrant are the Pioneers of Mid-American Nazarene. The Pioneers won the Hart regular season title with an overall record of 25-5. They will face the number 14 seed, the Mustangs of Central Baptist. The Mustangs won the AMC tournament and will join the national field with an overall record of 25-6. The next matchups will take place in Wichita, Kansas, hosted by the KCAC. The number 7 seed will be the Broncos of Hastings. The Broncos earned the GPAC tournament title with an overall record of 23-8. They will match up against the number 10 seeded Evangels of Mid-America Christian. The Evangels were the SAC tournament runners-up with an overall record of 23-8. The number 2 seed in the Kramer Quadrant are the Eagles of Oklahoma Wesleyan. The Eagles claimed both the KCAC regular season and tournament titles with an overall record of 29-2. They will face the number 15 seed, the Bobcats of Peru State. The Bobcats won the Hart Tournament Championship with an overall mark of 20-11. Let's take a short break, and when we come back, we'll reveal the right side of the bracket right after this.
I told my dad from a young age that I wanted to play ball at the highest level. He told me that hard work and consistency would get me there, and that he had a plan to help measure and track my progress. What I found is that the journey is the dream. With the help of the best coaches in America, my father and I launched an app that gives you a plan to become the best that you can be.
First time I picked up a Spartan TF ball, I knew it was built different. You know that feeling from that first moment on, it never leaves your hand. It raises you, lifts you to new heights, got you doing things like that. And once you're hooked, ain't nothing gonna stop that. It teaches you to be a student first, to lay it all out, just to do it again.
And again.
From the moment you pick up a TF ball, it's always there for you. Now do something with it.
Welcome back. Moving on now to the Dur Quadrant, with first and second round games played in Langston, Oklahoma, hosted by Langston. The number 1 seed will be the Lions of Langston. The Lions won both the Sooner regular season and tournament titles with an overall record of 30-1. They will face the number 16 seed, Bruins of Bellevue. The Bruins joined the national tournament after winning the North Star tournament. The number 8 seed in the Dur Quadrant are the Mound Builders of Southwestern. The Builders earned an at-large berth out of the KCAC with an overall mark of 24-5. They will face the number 9 seed, the Gyrenes of Ave Maria. the Gyrenes gained an at-large berth out of the Sun Conference with an overall record of 21-9. The next matchups will take place in Salina, Kansas, hosted by Kansas Wesleyan. The number 5 seed will be the Coyotes of Kansas Wesleyan. The Coyotes were the 2nd seed in the KCAC tournament with an overall record of 23-8. They will match up against the number 12 seeded Pilots of LSU Shreveport. The Pilots gained an at-large berth into the field out of the Red River with an overall record of 22-8. The number 4 seed in the Dur Quadrant are the Bulldogs of Concordia. The Bulldogs claimed an at-large berth out of the GPAC with an overall record of 23-7. They will face the number 13 seed, the Red Hawks of Indiana Northwest. The Red Hawks claimed the Chicagoland tournament crown with an overall record of 21-10. The next matchups in the Dur Quadrant will be played in Glendale, Arizona, hosted by Arizona Christian. The number 6 seed will be the Pioneers of Antelope Valley. The Pioneers won both the Cowpack regular season and tournament titles with an overall record of 26-4. They will face the number 11 seeded Foresters of Huntington. The Foresters earned an at-large berth out of the Crossroads with an overall record of 21-9. The number 3 seed in the Dur Quadrant are the Firestorm of Arizona Christian. The Firestorm won the GSAC tournament and will enter the national tournament with an overall mark of 23-7. They will face the number 14 seed, the Firebirds of St. Catherine. The Firebirds were the Cowpack tournament runners-up with an overall record of 23-8. The next matchups will take place in Marion, Indiana, hosted by Indiana Wesleyan. The number 7 seed will be the Firehawks of Tennessee Southern. The Firehawks claimed the Southern States regular season championship with an overall record of 26-5. They will match up against the number 10 seeded Bulldogs of Tougaloo. The Bulldogs won the Gulf Coast regular season championship with an overall record of 23-6. The number 2 seed in the Dur Quadrant are the Wildcats of Indiana Wesleyan. The Wildcats were the Crossroads regular season runners-up with an overall record of 26-5. They will face the number 15 seed, the Cougars of Columbia. The Cougars grabbed an at-large berth out of the AMC with an overall record of 24-6. Just 16 teams remain as we move on to the Liston Quadrant, with first and second round games played in Caldwell, Idaho, hosted by the College of Idaho. The number 1 seed will be the Yotes of the College of Idaho. The Yotes claimed the Cascade regular season title with an overall mark of 28-3. They will face the number 16 seeded Warriors of Jessup. The Warriors earned an at-large berth out of the GSAC with an overall record of 18-11. The number 8 seed in the Liston Quadrant are the Golden Eagles of Cornerstone. The Golden Eagles won the Wolverine Hoosier tournament with an overall mark of 24-7. They will face the number 9 seed, the Saints of Carroll. The Saints claimed an at-large berth into the national tournament out of the Frontier with an overall record of 19-11. The next matchups will take place in Livonia, Michigan, hosted by Madonna. The number 5 seed will be the Crusaders of Madonna. The Crusaders were the Wolverine Hoosier regular season champion with an overall mark of 25-6. They will match up against the number 12 seeded Defenders of Dort. The Defenders earned an at-large berth out of the GPAC with an overall mark of 19-10. The number 4 seed in the Liston Quadrant are the Lakers of Roosevelt. The Lakers were the Chicagoland regular season champions with an overall record of 25-4. They will face the number 13 seed, the Bears of Shawnee State. The Bears gained an at-large berth out of the River States with an overall mark of 20-9. The next matchups in the Liston Quadrant will be played in Sioux City, Iowa, hosted by Morningside. The number 6 seed will be the Tigers of Georgetown. The Tigers earned an at-large berth out of the Mid-South with an overall record of 23-7. They will face the number 11 seeded Tigers of Olivet Nazarene. The Tigers earned an at-large berth out of the Chicagoland with an overall mark of 22-8. The number 3 seed in the Liston Quadrant are the Mustangs of Morningside. The Mustangs claimed an at-large berth out of the GPAC with an overall record of 21-9. They will face the number 14 seed, the Grey Wolves of Lourdes. The Grey Wolves grabbed an at-large berth out of the Wolverine Hoosier with an overall mark of 22-6. Our final matchups will take place in Williamsburg, Kentucky, hosted by the University of the Cumberlands. The number 7 seed will be the Falcons of Florida College. The Falcons won the Continental Tournament with an overall mark of 27-4. They will match up against the number 10 seeded Knights of Marion. The Knights claimed an at-large berth out of the Crossroads with an overall record of 23-7. The number 2 seed in the listing quadrant are the Patriots of the University of the Cumberlands. The Patriots claimed an at-large berth in the national tournament out of the Mid-South with an overall record of 26-4. They will face the number 15 seed, the Panthers of Philander Smith. The Panthers claimed the Gulf Coast tournament title with an overall record of 21-8. Let's take one more look at the championship field. The 86th annual NAIA Men's Basketball National Championship gets started on March 15th at first and second round sites throughout the nation, culminating in the NAIA Men's Basketball National Championship final site in Kansas City, Missouri on March 21st. Catch all the action on the NAIA Network and the championship on ESPN3. Thanks for watching and good luck to all of our qualifiers.